Man, did we have a storm. Lightning, thunder. Of course, with lightning comes thunder, especially when it's close by. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I'm going to share with you guys the things we set in place to mitigate against wildfire and to help us defend against wildfire. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. We had a storm brew through. It was a really intense lightning storm last night, or yesterday afternoon. It was hot, it was about 96 degrees out, and then heavy downpouring rains came, and we had several lightning strikes. My son saw a plume of smoke next to a road coming up to the farm, and he was able to stop with some other locals, and they were able to extinguish that vegetation fire. So safe. But looking at the fire strike map, we had several lightning strikes around us. I think the closest one was 2,000 feet away, but we're still on fire watch. We're watching, and that's what we do when you live in the wilderness. Anyway, the processes which I took for protecting the buildings from wildfire is, of course, within a 50 feet perimeter around your home and your buildings. Just clear out all the vegetation, cut the grass, and keep it irrigated. Bottom line, that shows that's a good defense, period. Also, within 100 feet out, go ahead and thin your trees out to bring the limbs up. They say 9 feet up. If you could reach, get a ladder, get a saw, and just clean up your area around. And thinning out the trees, about a tree every 30 feet space, they recommend in our area, is good for fire control. Now, I've had several firefighters come to the homestead and give me an evaluation on the methods that we deployed to help us save the house and the outbuildings from wildfire. And they said that they would be safe, they would feel safe to stage right here on our homestead because they feel that safe that they could fight nearby wildfires and be safe on our homestead. Well, that says a lot. One also said my neighbors ought to thank me because I've made my homestead a really good buffer between wildfires of the native lands next to me that are unkempt to their property. So I like that. I like that. So some of the things I've taken, besides clearing the brush, clearing the trees, and limbing up the trees, I've also added this fire shield along the fence line and mulched my garden with gravel. This way it creates a safe area for us to run to if we can't get out and away from a wildfire. But this is, it's not foolproof, but it's some form of a barrier that blocks the fire from the vegetation burning on the native lands next to me, which is land I do not own. I can't do anything with that land, but I can put up this corrugated recycled metal roofing that I secured to my fence, so the flames will get in the grass, come up to the fence, and burn it out. And also I have irrigation that I can irrigate. We have this big water tank that is kept full of water. It's uphill so we can gravity feed through the hose line in case we have power failure, but we still have generator backup. So we have all kinds of redundant systems in place. Also surrounding my house with a rock mulch. This is pea gravel mulch with vegetation that is basically fireproof, also having big gravel areas around my homestead, and a safe egress to get out of the homestead. Keep your driveway clear of all debris, all the branches cleaned up, and all dead trees cleared out. So in case a tree lights on fire and falls across your driveway, you're blocked in. But in case we get blocked in, I have this fire extinguisher posted on this tree on my way out the driveway in case I need it. Also, this fire extinguisher is really close to this utility pole that services our farm. It has a transformer on top of that pole, and I've also, yesterday I removed all the grasses for 10 feet around and raked it, so in the event that that thing should fail and spark, the sparks won't start a fire. And if it does start a little bit of a fire, I could run out there with the fire extinguisher because it's right there and extinguish the fire. So this is good planning on my part, but I wanted to point out these transformers did start a wildfire. A transformer was ruled to be installed incorrectly, and it started sparking, and a neighbor witnessed the sparking, set the fire, and started the whole mountain on fire about 2 miles behind us here. And that fire came to within, was it 2,000 feet of the homestead? That was too close for comfort. So we live with wildfires, we live in the wilderness, so we deal with what we have to deal with. Another point I want to point out is during fire season, wildfire season, is go ahead and back your car into your parking spot. And that way, if you have to flee real quickly, you can jump in your car and just head right out the driveway. You don't have to worry about backing up and stuff. So you're already set up and ready to go. I keep another fire extinguisher. I keep some gallons of water in my vehicle. I also keep a collapsible shovel in my vehicle. That way, in the event, like my son, when he's driving down the road, he has some tools. He could just like throw the tools out there and run out there with the neighbors and start putting out the fire. So that's a good and wise and prudent thing to do to keep in your cars, because you never know when you're going to encounter an idiot flicking a lit cigarette outside of the vehicle. Yeah, we live among idiots. I can't stress that enough. We live among moronic idiots. I don't think it doesn't happen. It's happened out here also. In fact, we had one guy last year on the 4th of July going out throwing firecrackers or sparklers, incendiary devices out of his window, setting fires all over the place. But luckily, neighbors were just all over the place putting those fires out, so that it never manifested into something chaotic and destructive. So take some steps now and cut your grass, get rid of the vegetation that are near your home or your outbuildings. We even keep the fence line plowed. So it creates a barrier between the wildlands and our property. So we have some barrier buffer to hopefully mitigate flames. I do have a herd of goat. They're working on the vegetation in the back, keeping the leaves of the trees trimmed up and the grasses mowed down. Yeah, goats are really good to have on a farm, especially when you have so many acres to take care of. Well, anyway, I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We're a frugal homestead high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. Please stay tuned to more videos. You can do that by subscribing and clicking that bell icon. That'll alert you to new videos as I upload them. Remember, be safe, always be kind. And here is a little hint. We filmed another installment for Homestead Rescue and Discovery channel. And I think it's airing season 11, so stay tuned for that. We'll see ya. Bye-bye now.